So Stuart, slightly different debrief for you this weekend. Obviously a defeat on Saturday. What's it been like, obviously, this morning back in the training ground?
Yeah, really positive, really pleasing performance from the weekend. Disappointing result, and we're really disappointed with the outcome of the game. It's a game I don't believe we should have lost, and at worst we should draw the game, but I think we've done more than enough to win the game of football.
Like you said, the performance says one thing, the result says another. How much do you kind of have to just look into the performance more critically rather than the result after a game like that?
I always look at it and think if we can perform to that level, if we played that game another 9 times, I think we probably win it 9 times with that level of performance. The one on Saturday that we lose is the killer. That realistically, if you look at the stats and the numbers and all the efforts that we had on their goal, and then the difference between what they had on our goal, I think is a big difference, and it's very hard for them to win a game of football.
And I guess sometimes with football, if luck doesn't go your way, it really doesn't go your way. 9 times out of 10 we could have won that game. Just unfortunately for us on Saturday, it didn't quite fall for us the way we would have wanted.
No, I think in games, a lot of the time you do need that little bit of luck. A lot of balls fizzed across their box, potentially an own goal, or it hitting the back of someone and going in. I think once you get the first goal, the game opens up. But you do have to give credit to the opposition. They defended the box very well.
And obviously then heading into a game like Carlisle, a different kind of opponent, but still a lot to learn, obviously, from Saturday heading into this game.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we need to be very mindful within games when we're that dominant of the turnover of the ball and how quick teams can counter-attack, and I think that's going to be the big thing on Tuesday night against Carlisle. They're very good at turning the ball over and counter-attacking. They've got lots and lots of quality in the top end of the pitch, so we know what we're up against.
Just in terms of the team then, obviously Ollie Banks wasn't available at the weekend, Mofadera obviously coming back from injury as well. What's the update with them, if there is any at all?
Ollie Banks trained with us today, but tomorrow's probably too close for him to be involved, so that there's a good potential. We're hoping for Forest Green.
And just, obviously we spoke about Greg Ollie last week, another substitute appearance for him as well. How impressive have you been with the way he's returned last 2 games? Obviously 2 games of really tough conditions as well.
Look, for him to be out for as long as what he has and then perform to the level that he has when he's come on the pitch is really impressive. So look, we just need to make sure that we kind of keep ticking along and keep building his minutes, because we don't want to rush him, we don't want him to get injured again.
Speaking on Carlisle then, it's a team, York City, you haven't faced for quite a while now, obviously with the different divisions. It's a little bit of an unknown for a lot of people, so what would you kind of preview this one by saying?
Look, I think Carlisle are a team before the start of the season. They want to get promoted out of this division. They got relegated last year. I think they've assembled a really good squad with a lot of players with a lot of quality in the top end of the pitch that can hurt anyone on their day, and that's whether that's in this league or the league above. So we know that they've got a lot of threats, and they've been proven for that this season. They've had a very bright start to the season, and they're right up there in the mix, and I believe that they'll be right up there come the end of the season.
And as a manager as well, how much would you put that down to consistency? It's quite rare for a team to get relegated and stick with the manager like they have. Obviously Mark Hughes' experience and knowledge in the game as it is, he's obviously stuck around, built his own team with the summer window, and obviously then seeing the results this season so far.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they've added a lot of quality in the summer. Obviously now he's had a summer window come in mid-season, which is always very hard with the squad, and especially in the EFL, because you can't change your squad once the January window closes. You can't add or change, whereas in the National League you can change players if you do need to, if you get injuries or suspensions. I think they've recruited really well to the way that they want to play in the summer.
And how would a game like against Carlisle tomorrow night kind of differ to what we saw against Solihull in terms of opposition and how they play?
Look, I think if you look at the ambition of Carlisle, they want to get out of the division, and it's no different to us. We want to get out of the division, so we know that it's a game at the minute with 2 teams right at the top of the league that are competing to try and get promoted. So it's a big game in that sense, and I believe it'll be a big game in the crowd. I think they've sold out the away end, and I expect us to have a huge crowd as well. And I believe our home fans will play a real key point in this game.
And does it maybe help us or not at all, or do you not really look into it? Obviously, when we have a defeat on Saturday, a quick turnaround, a quick chance to potentially bounce back.
I think it's always good when the next game comes quick after a defeat. But the real positive is the performance level. Sometimes you can lose a game of football in a way that the performance isn't good and it's a really bad loss. I look at Saturday, it's a horrible loss because we played so well.
And obviously you just touched on it there about the crowd. It's probably the first time this season we've had a bumper crowd out there with obviously the large following that Carlisle will bring. We're approaching maybe 7,000 in here tomorrow night. How much of a boost is that, not just for the team but for yourself, and how key is everyone inside the stadium behind the lads for the full 90, even when maybe we're out on the front foot at certain times?
Yeah, definitely. Look, we've got to make it so loud here and so hostile for the away team, and I think on Saturday that was the case. And I think since I've been here, the fans have been incredible, and we're going to need them as our 12th man come tomorrow night.